Yes, my dear friend, welcome to the channel once again. This is Salon's vlog, and it is a very beautiful and hot afternoon here in Southeast Asia. You are in the morning, Africa. Any part of the world you are, I'm welcoming you in a very special way. My brother in South Korea, I am grateful because of you always have time for me. I appreciate your comment wherever you are. I love you, and I'll continue to appreciate you guys all. In Africa, in Europe, in Asia, in Americas. I am grateful for your time spent with me. I am really, really, really grateful. All right. There has been so much news the past few days regarding our squad, Chelsea. You know, it's international break, but the media is not resting. The pundits are not resting. The bloggers are not resting. We are still working hard to get inside information for you. Yeah, that is how it is. It is international break. The players are gone for the international duty. Kopama is with the England squad. Jackson is gone back to Senegal. All the international players, they are gone. But Casado, Enzo, they are gone. I can only hope they will come back unscattered. Right now, we need them back fit, right? Our next game is against Newcastle. We are already told that Newcastle has 11 players on injury list. The last time we had 11 players on injury list about 3 weeks ago. That Chelsea had 11 players on injury list. Now Newcastle have 11 players on injury list. I will come back to that, man, maybe another edition. But right now, I want to speak about a particular issue that have been popping up the past 3 days regarding our striking department. Yeah, you know where I'm going? Victor Osimehn. But before I reach Victor Osimehn, Nkuku is coming back. His first game most probably will be 25th against Newcastle. Yeah. And I know that you have been wondering which role, which position will Nkuku be playing. You know the good thing out there, which I want to call your attention to. In January, by January 13th, Jackson will not be available. Jackson will be going for Afcon, Africa Cup of Nations. Right? Great. And so if Jackson is gone, it means that there's a vacuum in the attacking role, a striking position. This is why many clubs, they don't want to sign important players like striking positions that are Africans. Many clubs these days, they avoid signing African players. Check Man City, how many African players are there? Guardiola don't want trouble. Just after Christmas, then your most important player is gone for Afcon, African Cup of Nations. But Nicola Jackson will be unavailable in January, from January 13th. As a matter of fact, he should be leaving for camping from 1st of January. Between the 1st and 5th of January, he should be leaving for camping. And that is the situation we find ourselves. But by the good news is that by then, Nkuku is already back in the squad. And not just Nkuku, Romeo Lavia will be back in the squad. Broja is available as a striker. So we have options right there. Therefore, we don't need to be worried. But the question here is, coming back to Victor Osimehn, availability of Victor Osimehn in January. Listen to this. Victor Osimehn is open to a move to Chelsea, but the Blues may have to wait until next summer to prize the Nigerian forward away from Napoli. A new striker is a top transfer priority for Chelsea, and Osimehn has emerged as a key target. He is a key target in this deal. If we are to go in for any striker at all, he is a key target. Now, Ben Jacobs also reports last night, he said, Chelsea will be looking for an elite striker in 2024. They are prepared to wait until summer if they need to, rather than move in January. There are a lot of links with Ivan Toney, but the price Brentford will require in January makes that quite difficult. It could be as high as £80 million. Now, yesterday I brought to you a news item that stipulated that our coach Pochettino, he is still weighing his options, but he will make the final decision in December, getting to the end of December, before first week of January. Why will he have to wait until that time? There is one particular reason why. In fact, two. Number one, Chelsea is not very sure on Ivan Toney, a player that sat out of football playing regular football for almost about 6, 7, 8 months. Coming back, there is no guarantee that if Chelsea should start negotiating right now to sign him in January, he will come back and he begin to, strike. There's no guarantee. And so Chelsea, even though Chelsea have Ivan Toney on their books, the most priority is, where they play their priority is who? Victor Osimehn. Contacts are being made. Number 2, there are issues with Victor Osimehn also. If Chelsea is to sign Victor Osimehn in January at all, remember Victor Osimehn will also be going to Afcon. Victor Osimehn will also have to go to Afcon. Yeah. And if Nigeria is to progress in the Afcon competition, maybe to the final, that means that Victor Osimehn will only come back in February, getting to the end of February. I think the final will be on February 11th or so. That way. So let's say by 20 before, Victor Osimehn could be back. A player that will just sign and he will go to Afcon. He might come back with injury. Africa Cup of Nations, you can never tell. And assuming he goes to Afcon and comes back with injury, he has to stay out for another 1 month. That means you're going to be losing him until maybe January, February, March, right? Does it make sense? These are things that I believe that are going through our coach and those who are in charge. Is it worth it to sign Victor Osimehn in January? Let me hear from you in the comment section. Or we should wait until we get to the summer. As for the target is Victor Osimehn. We need a striker like Victor Osimehn. Should we wait until summer, which is May, June, and sign him? Or we should just go straight away and get him in January? Do you think it's worth it? Looking at these 2 instances that I gave, he might got injury as well in the Afcon, and he'll come back. We have to now start treatment before he realizes it. 1 month is gone. Depending on, I'm not wishing him bad, but there's a possibility. Anything can happen as a footballer. So long as you're on the pitch playing ball, anything can happen. And if we are to go in for him in January, the price tag alone, you can imagine we buy a player 120 million pounds, 130 million pounds. We will not make use of him. He will not go to Afcon. And he might come back strong, even stronger, because he might score goals there. Then he can just pick from there. He can also equally come back with injury. Right? He might not even come back with injury. He can still come back, but he will come back after February. Because the last game of the Afcon, assume Nigeria get to the final, he's going to play until maybe 10th, 11th of February. Is it worth it to invest that kind of money to take that kind of a risk at this time? Let me hear from you in the comment section. Let me hear from you. This issue is not going away anytime soon. I will come back again on this issue. All right. And Ben Jacob, I've not finished reading yet. It could be as high as 80 million. Ivan Toney could cost as high as 80 million with no guarantee because he stayed away from matches, for over almost 8 months. And he said, and not everyone in Chelsea's senior leadership or recruitment team feels Toney is the right choice. Especially mid-season, when he's gone so long without playing. Osimehn is undoubtedly an option, and he will be at least a bit cheaper next summer compared to the last. He will be at least a bit cheaper next summer than the last summer price. So it means that if we should wait until January, Osimehn, if he's priced at 120, maybe we might get him around 100, a bit cheaper. Because his contract is also about to expire in a year. In another year time, he will now then be left with only 1 year extension on his contract. So our owners, they are putting all these things into consideration. Let me hear from you in the comment section. Victor Osimehn, Ivan Toney. Like I gave you the 2 instances. Ivan Toney will cost about 80 million. Many in the Chelsea hierarchy are not convinced that he can come in and deliver because he stayed out for so long. He was not playing regular football for over 8 months. Can he just come in with 80 million spent? Is there any guarantee that you come in and you start striking? Not everyone in Chelsea's senior hierarchy or leadership or recruitment team feels Toney is the right choice. Victor Osimehn, that everybody feels the right choice. If we are to go in for him also in January, he is very well going to Afcon. He might come back on a higher level. He might come back with a crooked leg. He might also come back only in February, getting too close to the end of February. Between that time that he will come back, what can Chelsea achieve then? We needed a striker that will hit the ground running. And right now, we need that striker badly. Are we still ready to let that player go another 1.5 months if we are to sign him in January? Dear friend, let me hear from you in the comment section. I shall be back with more on this issue in a later episode. Shalom and peace.